the Turbo 2, this one, a slight variation of the Renault 5. And I remember I wanted to drive one, and the head of the garage said, well, because it's you, okay, but not if it's raining. They were diabolic. It spin out if you were half thinking about getting on the throttle at the wrong time. And it did rain, so I've never driven one. And I don't know that I regret that.
Do you like the design?
Find out where that is.
No, it's pure hot rod. Bulge the fenders and widen the bumper. It's yeah, it's a nice design for what it was. It was taking an economy car and turning it into a performance icon. And they built quite a few of them.
Cunningham-related cars.
Well, they all belong to Briggs Cunningham. This is a Buick Mercedes. It has a Buick engine and a Mercedes chassis. He was one of the sort of founders of the Sports Car Club of America. He raced Le Mans many times. So some of these cars, that 50 Cadillac finished 10th at Le Mans in 1950. And he had a terrible, ugly thing the French called the Monster. It was a 50 Cadillac chassis with a body built by Grumman. And it was probably very aerodynamic, but it was really ugly. And coupe from the 50s. And of course, Peter Morgan always believed that the Lotus Elite was copied from this, which of course is utter nonsense. But the problem with it was that with the no chassis rigidity and stiff suspension, the fiberglass body would crack and break. That happened to HRG. They built a couple of aerodynamic bodies on their 1500 chassis, and the bodies would fall off because the chassis wouldn't really support modern coachwork. So I think they built about 30 of these. But what you have is this modern look and 1910 chassis. Because Morgan started building three-wheelers in 1910 with this sliding pillar front suspension, independent. And in 35 he built the first four-wheel cars with just a live axle. And this is continued. But it isn't terribly good looking, but it's very interesting. And to see one in this kind of shape tells you that it doesn't get driven very much.
This is the car you really like.
I really like this. It's a touring-bodied Alfa Romeo. I don't know which chassis, but it's the Villa d'Este Coupe from 1949 when they restarted the Concorde Elegance.
And what is it that you love about this car, Robert?
The proportions, the quality of metalwork, finish, these ribs coming down that is characteristic of touring at the time. Mr. Bianchi Anderloni had done it, and he did another one that I like very much, which is the Ferrari Barchetta, which has some of the same characteristics of surface. And it's very delicate. The pillars are slim, excellent view out from inside, and Alfa Romeo always built really serious, beautifully engineered chassis. So, coming around the grille and under the headlamp is very similar to the Villa d'Este Alfa. And what was nice about touring bodies was their ability to handle the sheet metal. See where the hood has a little dip down to the other surface, or the rib running from front wheelhouse to rear wheelhouse. It's all very elegant, very nicely made.
One year that you like better than others, or one decade? Would 40s be maybe the decade?
No, not really. No, I think there are good cars in every decade. This one is interesting, a Bizzarini Strada. It's almost a joke. It's a Giugiaro design for Bertoni, and it's very flattened roof. It was meant to be super high performance, had Corvette engine. You can buy a kind of modern replica from Bizzarini.
So if they're going to resurrect this one, how much was this when it first came out, and how much would the resurrection be?
I imagine that in the 60s it was around $12,000, but I don't know. I honestly don't know, but at least that.
And then the resurrected one?
Oh, 150.
Wow.
This is a Zagato body. It's my favorite of that period because they had a wonderful designer named Hercules Sword, Ercole Spada, and he did these. It's kind of elongated. The roof is flatter than the Zagato bump Abarths that they were building, but this is a very refined small V4 engine driving the rear wheels, and Lancia built high quality cars. This is one of my favorites because of the proportions. It's kind of long. It's a little bit extended. Even the front overhang is long, and it's good aerodynamically. It doesn't weigh very much, and it handles extremely well.